Live in front of a live studio audience, it's Buzzin' and Blabbering.
All right, here we go.
So, welcome back, everybody. Episode 5.
Cinco.
Yeah. We're halfway to double digits.
Ooh, halfway,
Yeah.
baby.
So,
You guys are good. I'm proud of you both.
thanks.
Wait, who's this talking, Joel?
So, I was trying to get there.
Oh, okay.
So, tonight we have an actual guest, and it's someone who is near and dear to my heart. My beautiful wife, Kathy, is here to be interviewed, so that way Nick and I can continue learning how to interview people the right way.
My wife.
No, my wife.
His wife.
All right, so introductions first or beer first?
I feel like we should have a beer first, so that then when we can introduce her, we can all cheers.
Okay, perfect. All right, so tonight's beer of choice is Bigelow Brown from Bigelow Brewing out of Skowhegan, Maine. It is a wonderful brown ale with 5% alcohol content, aka 5 horsepower.
Woo!
Freaking horsepower on this one, bad boy.
Do you guys
Yo.
pick your beer based on the guest?
No,
Oh, but we should.
I
That's a good idea.
picked this one because I liked the artwork on it, and it was the first one that my eyes landed on in the cooler
Where'd you get it?
at Mountainside Market right here in Carrabassett Valley, Maine.
Uh,
And I paid full price for it. It's not a paid advertisement whatsoever. It's just, I like it
For now.
for now.
Bum, bum, bum.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. First sponsor. We see you.
We're just trying to will it into an existence at this point.
It'll happen.
Okay, we're going to do a synchronized crack.
Here we go.
Ready?
3,
1, 2,
1.
3.
Oh, I put my thumb in it. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, you did. You sucked that head off.
All right, well, a preemptive suck before we cheers.
Someone's going to use this table next week and wonder why it smells like beer.
that is good.
That's delightful. Nutty,
nutty.
brown,
I almost brought some peanuts down for you.
ale-like.
Because I know you love peanuts.
Yeah.
All right,
This is
so
nutty enough, I guess.
what do you guys think? What occasion would this beer go well with?
Bowling.
Camping.
Okay. I feel like this is a good after dinner beer. Like
Yeah.
a dessert beer, maybe.
Yeah.
Top off the evening.
Yeah.
What?
It's
Yeah. I've never heard of having a dessert beer.
Well, you know, it's kind of chocolatey and kind of sweet, so this could be like the top off of a nice dinner.
It's close. I love peanut butter. I love beer. I have not enjoyed a peanut butter beer. You know, the stouts that are peanut butter flavored.
Well, this is
this
not
one,
a peanut butter beer either.
No, it's not, but it's got that nutty flavor, and
Yeah.
it's just enough so it's like, it's good.
That's really weird for me because I come from people where you have to earn your beer. Like you work like 17 hours in the hot sun and then you earn a beer.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Oh, you've put in about 17 and a half hours today at school, so I would say
yes,
that.
Nick and I were down here in our classrooms at 7 this morning giving a standardized exam.
Now it's 7:22 and you're still down here. Anyway,
And we're back.
And we're back. Sorry about
So
that.
you edit all that out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You can edit out whatever you want. So
Okay.
if you say something and you're like, that was dumb, you can say, that was dumb, and then Nick will know to cut it out.
Except
Wow.
I'll leave it in just because you did it.
Okay.
All right, so everybody starts off with an introduction. All of our guests so far have, and since you're guest number 1, you get the first introduction.
Hey.
Okay, this is a little stressful having your husband introduce you, but go ahead.
I think you'll like this one. You may not want to be drinking when I say it, though, because you're going to laugh.
Okay.
Or not. I try to take the introduction serious, and then the rest of the conversation can be fun.
Okay. Fair
So,
enough.
Kathleen Doyon, welcome to the show. You were born in Bangor, Maine, and the newest NICU in the state at just 28 weeks, and weighed in at 2 pounds. Despite what the doctors told your parents, you grew into a successful adult, wife, and mother of 2 girls. You grew up on the family farm.
Hold on, can I pause you real quick?
Yep.
She's married to her daughters as well.
No.
A wife.
And mother of 2.
It sounds like a wife and mother are together.
2 girls.
Sorry.
Did I ruin that?
Let me start over.
It's good though, because I thought
No,
it was
keep going.
great.
Note to the editor, we're starting over
No, we're not.
because Nick ruined it.
All right, I'm being quiet.
Do you like sitting with a couple teachers?
No.
English teachers?
Yeah, I know, right?
Listen, I'm just a knuckle dragger blue collar guy, so.
Oh
don't
yeah, if
judge
you took
me.
us out and asked us to identify soil, we'd be like, it looks like dirt.
That's some freaking dirt right there, dude.
We're going to try this again. Kathleen Doyon, welcome to the show. You were born in Bangor, Maine, in the newest NICU in the state at just 28 weeks and weighed in at 2 pounds. Despite what the doctors told your parents, you grew into a successful adult, wife, and mother of 2 girls. You grew up on the family farm with your parents and 11 siblings in Strong, Maine, where you eventually built your own home with your husband and children. You learned to ski at Sunday River, Maine, with Maine Adaptive Sports and Recreation, formerly known as Maine Handicap Skiing. Skiing took you around the world and taught you grit and determination, which you developed at a young age growing up with cerebral palsy. In high school, you were on the racing circuit with the goal of becoming a Paralympic ski racer. You were a college graduate with a degree in history, political science, and a master's degree in education. You're an educator at Maine's premier winter sports private high school in Carrabassett Valley, Maine.
You heard it here first.
Though you have faced many challenges along your path, you have taken it all in stride with grace and grit. Welcome to the show.
Wow, that was really nice. I didn't even know you thought those things about me. I mean,
so
I
much
did.
more.
ChatGPT does.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I wrote that in about 4 minutes, so
Okay.
I hope it was okay.
no, that was great. That was great. Yeah. All of those things are true. Yeah. So, are you guys, do you want to know more? Do you want me
Yeah,
to
we're
just
gonna
enjoy this beer with
so
you?
What we would like you to start and give us like a 10 to 15 minute. Actually, no. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have you start your life story at the beginning
Okay.
and tell it all the way through to today. And in the meantime, we're gonna fire off some questions at you.
Okay.
Does that make
That
sense?
sounds fair, yeah.
Okay. So tell us the story of how you ended up coming to this earth way earlier than expected.
I have no idea. I think I was just really excited to get this party started. I was the first daughter of my parents, and they didn't know I was a daughter. But my 2 older brothers were born at the town doctor.
At his house.
At his house. Like there was, well, I don't think it was his house, but he had like a house in our town where he delivered babies. And our town had a population of maybe 1,000 people on a good day. So it was a really small town, a lot of farmers. And my grandfather was like a dairy farmer. His great whatever moved from Massachusetts up to Maine way back in Mayflower days and built the farm that my grandfather ran, and then my parents bought. They had 2 boys, and then I was next. My brothers, I don't know if there's a lot of truth to this or if it's just like
Family lore.
Yeah, a family lore where my dad traded like cords of wood for the birth of my brothers.
Well, that's why I was born there, because he was the only doctor that would take a cord of wood and trade for childbirth.
Right, instead of if you didn't have insurance, it
Yeah.
was a good place to have your babies. So my mom anticipated that I would be born there as well, and then at about 6 months along, a lot of people didn't even know she was pregnant. She was in nursing school. She went to the doctor, and she was already in labor. So
Like for a checkup, she went to the doctor?
I think that she had like feelings of labor and didn't know if it was true labor or not.
Okay.
And so I couldn't be born at that office, obviously. So they said, you can go. My mom was hemorrhaging at this point, and they said, you can go to Portland, but the baby's going to have to go to Boston. And if you know my mom, she lives for her kids. So she was like, no way. I'm not going separate from the child into separate places.
Right.
So they knew that I was coming. So they said, well, there's this brand new NICU in Bangor. You can give it a try. And this was 1984. So she went up there, and for 4 days, they prepared my, it's a hard thing to say because now that we're parents, but they prepared my mom to deliver, my mom and dad to deliver a stillbirth. And they said even if I survived the delivery, that I wouldn't survive the complications because this was 1984.
Clearly that didn't happen.
Right. So I was born at 2 pounds and super healthy as far as preemies. Like I had really good coloring, pretty good lungs, was overall pretty healthy. Yeah. And I stayed in the NICU for my birth date is June 4th. My due date was like September 7th. So I stayed in the NICU until September 7th.
Okay. So they kept you in like the incubator
Yeah.
until you were full term, essentially?
Yeah, but like I said, I was really healthy preemie. Like I assume it's because my mom is a farm kid, you know. She probably drank raw milk, and I was just a really healthy premature baby.
Drink your raw milk, kids.
Yeah.
And your beer.
And your beer.
And your beer. Cheers.
Cilantro.
So my mom was sicker than I was, but she had 2 babies at home. So once she was able to leave the hospital, she left me there, but she would drive every day from Strong to Bangor to feed me, to hold me, and I had a ton of support, grandparents.
And that's not a short drive. That's like a 2.5
Oh,
hour
yeah,
adventure.
that's true.
All.
Yeah.
And she did it multiple times a day, and she breastfed me. So really, like, my NICU story isn't scary.
Well, it's
I
a little
think-
scary when the doctor tells you that your baby's not going to survive.
Right. I think once I made it through the first night, my mom and dad both were like, no big deal, she's got this, you know. And my dad would take his wedding band off and put it on my wrist as a bracelet. So I was really tiny, but I was thriving.
So
Wow.
at this point, after you were born, there was no assumption other than being a preemie that you had any physical deficits.
It's hard to say. I wasn't there, but the way that my mom tells it is she had no idea. Like, once I survived that first little bit, she was like, oh, we're good to go. I was happy, and again, meeting all the milestones for a NICU babe. So I was sent home and lived a very normal life, except I stopped meeting the physical milestones, like sitting up on my own, crawling, standing, everything that a baby does. So
Was the thought at that point was just that's because you were born early?
yeah, and along the way, doctors accused my parents of wearing rose-colored glasses, because they would just be like, when people said, "Oh, she's behind," or "She's not moving right," they'd be like, "Oh no, she was just born 3 months early. Like, she's gonna catch up." I was very vocal and happy. Like, I smiled and content. I had 2 older brothers, and I think I was just a happy baby. So no one was really like alarmed. Like, how I am now, I assume was how I was as a baby, because I look at pictures, and like as a toddler, I would crawl everywhere. I would do everything that my brothers were doing. So it wasn't until my mom brought my brother into one of his doctor's appointments for ear infections. Like, he was seeing a specialist to see if he needed tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor was like, "Oh, your daughter has cerebral palsy." And my mom was like, "Oh no, she was just born early. She's catching up." And the doctor said, "You better come with me." And told my mom, "No, your daughter, this is what your daughter has." He could tell by watching me move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like
when was this?
I was 18 months old.
And so he based that diagnosis first off from your physical movements.
Well, again, I don't think we lived in a really small town, and I think when we got sick, we went to the local provider in a really small office. But this one appointment, my brother had to go to the city, the big old city, to get his ears checked. So maybe the doctor had more experience seeing people with cerebral palsy. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe this is a good point to explain what this is. What is?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So cerebral palsy is loss of oxygen during birth. So when I told you guys that my mom went to the NICU in Bangor, she spent 4 days there without me because I was still in her belly. They were trying to start and stop labor. I mean, they were trying to stop labor, but it was continuing to start. So probably somewhere in that process, or also being born breech, which is when you come out butt first, I lost oxygen to my brain, which affects it's kind of like a spectrum disability because it depends on how long you go without oxygen, depends on early intervention. So it's hard to say exactly what it affects, but in my case, I was diagnosed later, 18 months later, as quadriplegic spastic cerebral palsy. So this means that my muscles are constantly spastic and my movements are awkward and my balance is poor.
And it affects all 4 limbs.
It does affect all 4 limbs according to my diagnosis.
So when you say spastic, I know what that means, but what does spastic mean?
The best way that I can describe it is just your muscles are always firing. So they're tight. It increases the tone in your muscles. So like where other people might flex, my legs are going to look like locked, my hands, my tongue, like every muscle that you can think of in your body is affected with spastic movements. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's really, now that I have my own children and teach, the way that I describe it is like it's a brain injury or like a stroke at birth. Yeah.
So after the diagnosis, the initial diagnosis, what was the prognosis from the doctors? What was the plan moving ahead with you and your family?
So I think my parents were told, again, my mom was really like a positive person, probably just caught up in the day-to-day life of, raising kids and being a nurse, and my dad was a millwright, and they just worked hard every day. So I think they were just caught up in life, which was a really positive thing for me because the doctors, once they found out, said, oh, she'll never walk or talk or go to normal school. And that really has stuck with me all these years because I love school and I can't imagine not having that experience. So, yeah. That's what they told them, and they described what quadriplegic spastic CP was. And I was hooked in with a really good physical therapist, and my mom just started taking me as much as she could. It became super important to my parents. Well, the legend goes, or the family lore, is that my dad was a softie, my mom was a hard ass, which kind of pans out.
That checks out.
Yeah, so my mom would tie me in my high chair and put peanut butter on the roof of my mouth because at this point I couldn't sit up. I would still slouch or fall because I didn't have the balance. So she would tie me in the high chair with a piece of cloth and then put peanut butter on the roof of my mouth. And she would go about her day-to-day stuff that she had to do, but I would have to sit there and lick the peanut butter off my mouth because she thought that will strengthen her talking muscles, which it obviously did.
At that point, you were nonverbal.
Yeah, I think so. I don't really know.
Okay.
I was never much of a talker as a kid anyways. So, I think I was able to communicate what I needed.
Yeah, but knowing your brothers,
they rushed in and did it before I had to say anything.
You probably didn't have a chance to say anything before they butted in.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So then I had a little sister. She's actually 18 months younger than me, which was amazing. She was also born early, and she is not disabled, but she was born early, and I think at that point my parents decided to stop having children because of everything that was happening at that time in their life. So yeah, I got hooked in with a good PT and a good orthopedic surgeon, and when I was 4, I had my first surgery to lengthen my hamstrings and something in my ankles, and then I would like sleep with a wooden bar between my legs to hold them like a certain distance apart. So I learned like that strength that way. Yeah, my mom was just really adamant that even as a young child that I do everything that my brothers were doing, but she'd be like, I'm sorry, you have to do your stretches, even though I'd cry and be like, no. She'd be like, you have to. Or I'd try to convince her not to put the wooden bar in between my legs, and she'd be like, not a choice. So I learned to walk with a walker, or I had a walker by the time I was 4. I had a walker, and I was starting to walk. But then I was also falling a lot because I was crawling, and I was always a mess. So my mom brought me to the doctor to get stitches for like the 17th time that week. And the provider was actually Joel's aunt, said, you have to take this girl skiing. My sister, which was Joel's mom, is working at Maine Handicap Skiing in Bethel. You've got to take this girl. So my mom and dad were not alpine skiers, downhill skiers. But they took a risk and brought me, and the legend goes, as your mom tells it, is that I went out, I was getting ready to ski for the first time. And don't forget, my mom had 3 other children at home. So it was like we left the house. We got to Sunday River, which was an hour and a half away. And my mom would be like, you're going to ski all day. We're here so you can ski. Like, we didn't waste 1 minute. We were the last ones to arrive to the lodge, but probably the first ones on snow, because we just kept moving. And so I went to crawl out to my first set of skis, and Maine Handicap Skiing or Maine Adaptive is all volunteer based. So one of my volunteers went to pick me up and lug me, and my mom was like, put her down. She crawls everywhere. She can crawl to those skis. So I crawled to my first set of skis, learned to ski before I could walk. I used outriggers, which are like arm crutches with skis on the bottom. So I used the strength in my upper body, and then like a tip stabilizer.
Just like a little thing that connects the tips of your skis
together.
together.
So they wouldn't cross.
Yeah.
On the front of my skis, and then I had my volunteers, and I just used my upper body, and I loved it. It was 1 day a week. For the winter months in Maine, and my mom and dad made sure I was there every whatever my day was. That was my sport. I loved to be outside. I loved the cold air, and it was just my sport right away.
So at this point, you've learned how to ski before you can walk.
Yeah, I learned I made it through my first ski season, and then I started walking, and I had a big surgery kind of in that spring. So things started happening quickly. Like at that point, I could walk, and I walked with a walker, and my little sister learned to walk by holding on the back of my walker, and we'd get into everything. So that was how I learned to walk. Probably the skiing, strengthening my muscles, and
And stretching too.
And stretching, yeah.
So are you a big proponent of stretching?
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. My mom and Joel now, but my mom and dad would stretch my legs every night, and every morning it felt like. So
I need to do that more.
Yeah, I know. It's nice when you have someone do it for you. No.
I've got to find somebody to do it for me. Joel, what are you doing later? You want to stretch 2 people?
Mick and I will
Okay,
lay down.
that came out a little
Well,
wrong.
not at the same time.
Mick and I will lay down next to each other. You can do like a hamstring stretch on him and then a hamstring stretch on me.
Well, if you lay in opposing directions with your legs facing me, I can pick your legs up at the same time.
Yes. Look at that. I got plans for tonight, guys.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, so I started skiing and I loved it. And so all through elementary school and middle school, I missed one day a week. My parents fought like tooth and nail so that could get written in my plan. Like this was part of her schooling, was she needed to go and ski. So imagine that, missing one day of school a week.
So that was like something you had to fight for, because at this point in the early 80s there were no, or I should say 90s, there were no like IEPs or anything.
Well, if I remember it correctly, I didn't qualify for an IEP.
Because you're so smart.
Intellectually. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. So my mom had to be like, no, but there's things she needs because of her physical disability. She needs to be able to go skiing. She needs to learn how to type. These are things that need to happen. So, but she really, I think they had to fight. They also fought so that I had a physical therapist visit me one time a week. The physical therapist was always already coming to our school, but they made it so I could get that service as well.
So when did you stop using the walker?
Well, when I went off to kindergarten, I wanted to be cool and not use a walker like everyone else. So my dad made me walking poles with rubber grips on the top.
Before hiking poles were cool.
Yeah, and I used those. I have some cool pictures I'll make sure you guys see.
Love to see those.
And then my
photo here.
My dad went into my kindergarten classroom and built me a chair that had like a footrest on it so I wouldn't slouch in my chair when I got tired. Like they reinvented the
wheel.
The way that it was going to happen in my little town. Yeah. So I went to school, K through 5 with the same group of friends. The kids became accustomed, like we kind of see in today's world, we know as educators. Kids just become accustomed. Like seeing me was not hard for my friends.
It's definitely something that is a constant, even in today's world, where like kids are just like, well, this is just how it is and we're just going to deal with it. Yeah. And adults are like, what's wrong with you? Do we need to do something for you? Are you okay? Sometimes they assume that you're really hammered. Like,
yeah, adults I think do not handle it as well as kids, for sure.
Isn't that interesting?
Even today, if I know that if I'm going to roll into a room, because we'll get to why I'm rolling, not walking, or if I was to walk into a room, I would have to fight twice as hard as my able-bodied counterparts for a job, for a promotion, because adults they have those preconceived notions. I'd like to find out how old they are when they get those, so we could figure out an education. But
it's interesting how even college-educated adults are made uncomfortable by the presence of somebody that's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it must do you think that high school students are
college high school students?
No, high school.
Okay.
Did I say high school?
You said
college high school.
Let's just say this beer is really hitting the spot. High school students, do you think that they are on the adult spectrum or on the student spectrum?
Oh, it's so hard. I've spent years thinking about this because, like I was about to say, is I went to school with the same kids from K to 5, right? And I had best friends. I went for sleepovers. Like, everything was A-okay. Somewhere in middle school, it became not okay. Same group of kids. It became hard for them to take, starting to use words like crippled bitch, I was called once, or just pushing me around. Or one time someone clammed in someone else's hand, like hocked a loogie, and then wiped it on my back, and I walked around school like that. Whether it had something to do with my disability or not, I don't know. But you could definitely sense this like shift. I'm not calling out all my middle school counterparts right now, but yes, I am kind of.
I would definitely say that middle school is the hardest years to go through because you're like, your brain isn't fully developed, but your body's developing faster than your brain, and you've got all this bravado.
Well, we all watch Big Mouth.
If you haven't seen Big Mouth, watch Big Mouth.
That's your sex education now.
Yeah.
Well, it's ours. I'm learning all kinds of stuff.
But then I went off to high school, and that was fine. It went from this really small one town to then a regional high school, so I got more friends in the mix now.
And that was, what, 6 towns worth of kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my friends had grown up, my friends from middle school, so I had just overall a really positive childhood. Like, I knew I was different, but not that different. Like, it was such a weird thing now to reflect on because I didn't realize as an adult that would come back to me. Like, come back as, oh, yeah, you're different. Because my childhood was not like that. I was super happy all the time. Like, didn't even know discrimination existed. Because my parents, my sister, my brothers, they had this great gift where they could, like, help me, but not in a condescending way. And that's the most simplest way to put it, because you're like, well, how do you do that? How do you help someone and not be condescending? But it's just this empathy they had, but this also belief that I was just like them and I was going to live a life just like them. So that was a really cool experience. And I think that helped. That helped being able to sit here and reflect and say, man, I had a super happy childhood. That's a pretty cool thing to say.
So how did, because small towns are the way they are, how did the rest of town take it that they now had a person with a disability in their town?
Well, that's funny because I would ride my bike through town, and I think a lot of it was a lot of people knew my parents' story, how they delivered this little girl up in Bangor, like that's big news for my little town.
Did it hit, sorry to interrupt, did it hit like the paper or anything?
I don't think so. Not during my birth, but you didn't really need that in Strong, because if someone went to church and added it to the prayer chain, bam, everyone in town knows. So I think they like saw me ride my 3-wheeled bike. They saw me out there crawling around in my dad's garden. Like the whole town saw those things, and they were just like, "Oh, that's Gail and Ron's little girl, Did I tell you she was born in Bangor?" Because it's probably bigger news that I was born in Bangor. You know what I mean?
Wow, you might as well have been in Canada, Jesus.
Yeah, right?
Freaking Canuck.
The Whites got to go to Bangor.
Make it sound like it's...
That's their family name.
I was just about to say that. I was like, not racist.
Yeah, so...
But we are in Maine.
I think that's when growing up in a little town helped. So I'm still skiing all this time, and thank God I had a little sister, right? Because then I had like a built-in best friend, and she would get pissed if people at Walmart would stare. She'd be like, "You want to take a picture?" She still says that to this day. I'll tell you. Like 1 week ago, I was with her at Mainly Nudes in Portland. Woo! And
which is what?
It's a noodle bowl.
Okay.
Right.
I was there with my sister, and she was like pushing me up the curb, and then they had a huge step into the restaurant, and so she was helping me up there, and people were watching us, and she was like, "Take a picture, it'll last longer." I'm like, calm down. Like, they're like, wow, look at these ladies trying to get up into this restaurant. But
looking at you, Mainly Nudes. Build a ramp. Be better.
anyway, so having a built-in best friend definitely helped, because I was still doing all the cool things, and I knew what the cool things were, because she was there, and she was telling me she got her license before me,
Yeah, but then she just got to drive you around.
Yeah, I know. I loved it. I didn't care. But she was like that built-in best friend. And her friends would become my friends, because she would just make it seem so natural that I have a sister that moves like this. And to me, it's just a walk. I forget that there's this whole other host of things. Like, I'll go and watch this video and be like, oh, yeah, my face is kind of spastic. My hands are kind of spastic.
Never noticed it.
I know. But to me, it was just the walk, so I didn't even know why people think or thought it was a big deal. I forget the rest of the funny movements.
So
Trying to look back,
You're just around me so much.
I think the only thing I saw was the walk.
I think you have that gift though, Nick, where you make people feel like like my sister.
I don't know.
She has that gift too. You have that gift, I think.
I think that if you've gone to different parts of the world throughout your life, and then you come back here and you see someone like you walking, it's probably not the weirdest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, I always say that. Like, I love being in a place where I'm anonymous and I'm not the weirdest thing people have ever seen. Yeah, that's fun. Okay.
I love that.
So I kept skiing, and then I went to high school, and, well, I guess I was in 8th grade, and the ski coach at the high school knew I was coming. Again, my parents were like, you got to put this girl on your ski team. She loves to ski. And so the head coach was like, well, I got to go ski with her first. And so he came over to Maine Adaptive and did like one run with me and was like, yep, she's on our team. So I got to join an able-bodied small high school ski team in Maine, which is, again, I think there was one other disabled athlete towards the end of my career.
Yeah.
And then now I know that there are disabled athletes that participate in the skiing. So that's really cool. So anyways, I started racing, like running gates. I would come up here to Sugarloaf with my high school ski team. We would get permission to leave school at like 1:45. We'd truck up to Sugarloaf real quick, run a few gates, and then go back home. And that's how we did it. If we could afford a ski bus, like the district could afford to provide us with a ski bus that afternoon. And in high school, you had to do Nordic and Alpine because our teams weren't that deep, which is cross country and downhill. So I did both. I didn't race cross country. I would like be skiing along and my ankle would be riding on the snow. That's not really fast. And I had to use fish scales while the rest of the team was using regular skis. But the Alpine I loved.
What are fish scales?
It's so on cross country skis, you either have the bottom of your ski in the middle is molded to look like fish scales, so that way it's directional, so it will slide this way and grip this way.
Oh, cool.
So when you kick backwards with your foot to make momentum, the other one will slide ahead, and then this one will have grip, and then vice versa.
But those are fast in races. So the kids on the race team had regular like race skis.
Oh.
And they use kick wax. So it's a wax that has a certain adherence factor, and there's different waxes for different temperatures. So they are faster and also grippier.
There's different types of waxes for different temperatures?
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit!
Oh my gosh, you didn't.
You work at a ski school.
Do you know that when
You
the
work
kids
at
are
the premier winter sports private high school.
Guys, I keep forgetting. How long have I been on a mountain? 2 hours and 54 minutes?
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
that was before you hit the lift pole. Oh my god. Yeah, so great segue. I have this sport that all my able-bodied friends usually can't do. So I love it. I joined the race team. I ski with a small group of kids. You know, I go to a high school where basketball and soccer are cool. But it was fine. I was on a sports team. My freshman year and my sophomore year, I skied on that team as much as I could, but I also got to travel out to Colorado for the Hartford Ski Spectacular, which is where they gather all the disabled people in the land
Better skiers.
that like the winter, and they bring them here
That might be a title.
to Breckenridge.
All the disabled people in the land.
And even if you've never learned to ski before, you can go there and learn to ski. But there was also a learn to race, advance your skiing group. So I got invited my 10th grade year of high school, and that's where I met the U.S. ski team. I was like, wait, there's a ski team of people like me. Like, my mind is friggin' blown, right? Because I live in Strong, Maine. Population, well, it's decreasing daily, right? Like 733 now.
It's
So
definitely less than 1,000.
so my mind is like blown. I'm so excited. And then I start going to different camps that they're hosting, because we work with able-bodied athletes. We know that their track is to get on the U.S. ski team. There's these academies all over New England feeding kids to the U.S. ski team, if they're good enough. But there's nothing for adaptive athletes, except for this U.S. ski team and their coaches going around doing camps, meeting the new group of skiers.
Well, there are programs at different mountains around the country that teach people with disabilities to ski, but there's
and sometimes they have a competition element.
Yeah, but there's no typical school district team.
Yeah, that wouldn't provide your schooling, so you have to have a normal life that you go back to. So I started doing all this stuff, on the East Coast, on the West Coast, what my parents could afford to send me, wherever was hosting camps and had good snow, and with disabled athletes, the U.S. ski team. And then my junior and senior year of high school, I realized that I needed to ski full time. And I convinced my parents. My whole town came out to a spaghetti dinner or baked bean dinner. I don't remember. And donated so I could go to the ski academy, so I could go to all these camps my 11th grade year.
What academy was that?
Waterville Valley Academy in New Hampshire. They had hosted other disabled athletes for, a time here and there. And so they were eager to have me on their campus.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They charged my parents $10,000 for the season, which was cheap even for back in that time.
Right.
And then for my travel and my coach, I had a coach that was assigned to work with me and any other disabled athlete at that level. We're paid through fundraising, on my part, scholarships and whatnot. Yeah. So I fell in love with competitive sports, competitive skiing, doing the dry land, watching my nutrition, doing the mental skills. Was this is my track. I'm going to be a Paralympian. And part of it was I could think of all those kids that played basketball and soccer and got celebrated. I came back from a ski camp my 10th grade year when I was just falling in love with competitive sport. And my gym teacher was like, well, you missed a week of class, so you have to walk around the track after school to make up for that week of class you missed while you were at your ski thing.
Right, because you weren't being athletic.
Well, I was like, man, and if he knew the athletes that I was skiing with, these are top-notch U.S. ski team members. They are athletes.
What was his name?
No, we're not going to call him out on here. Not my style. So anyways, I just knew that I need to be somewhere where skiing I can do and academics will come in second, I guess.
Sure.
So I went to Waterville Valley Academy and just fell in deeper. And then I went to college and skied again on an able-bodied race team for my college, but also at that point was traveling all over the world to ski. Yeah.
So how long were you competitively skiing?
So I count the last 2 years of high school because that's when it really got intense. I did the dry land, I ate the right foods and whatnot. So 2 years of high school and 4 years of college.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which colleges did you race
Well, people are going to laugh when I say this because they're like, that's not a ski school. It so is. University of Maine at Farmington.
Beavers.
Go Beavers.
Beaver pride deep inside. That's the second episode we've said that.
That is so awesome.
But part of that was because of the local community sport here. My parents couldn't be convinced that I would spend my college years out in the West. I was like, I don't need college. But they were like, yeah, you do, because you need a fallback plan. And at this point, I'm first gen. My mom went to nursing school, but after she had children. So I was first generation. My brothers didn't go, so it was up to me. I think my parents had good foresight at that point. Even though my disability was never a thing for them, they were just like, well, you're going to need your education. So I stayed on the East Coast because local mountains, local people. They were all sponsoring me. Local companies, Grady White Boats. They were all sponsoring me.
Shout out Grady White.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to school in Farmington. And again, it was a great schooling experience. Yeah. And I skied a ton.
What else did you do?
Are you serious?
Yeah. Did you have any moment?
No, I worked at the fitness center. I love to write, so I wrote a lot, just different things. And I also was a big part of the political science major there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you also do like the typical college student stuff? Like, did you go out with friends? Did you live in the dorms? Like that sort of stuff.
Did you become inebriated?
Did you consume adult beverages in college?
Oh my gosh, yes. What else did I do? I did. I hung out.
So you lived the typical college student life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, except skiing was a huge part of. It was kind of weird because I had like my college life, but also this team that I was trying to make. I was trying to make the U.S. team, So I was kind of like between both worlds still. Yeah.
So after your call, what? Why you? That's so funny.
I'm just nervous about the next question.
Why?
I don't know.
So what? And we can not answer this if you don't want to.
Are you gonna ask me if I can have sex?
No. Okay.
We haven't
This
gotten
is
there
all
yet.
getting fucking edited out.
I'm not.
So, what stopped your racing career?
No, that's an awesome question.
It wasn't black lung, was it?
I think it was.
Hold, please.
No, I would fall and hit my head a lot and knock myself out.
Oh,
Why would you do that?
Because my arms.
not for fun.
When I described the outriggers that I learned to ski with, like I said, they were arm crutches. But if you're holding on to these to like help you with your balance while you're skiing, every time I fell, it would be forward on my face or back on my head. And I think,
And because of the outriggers, you couldn't put your hands out
Right,
to stop
right.
yourself.
yeah. So I think just skiing at that level for 6 days a week, yeah, eventually I was going to, on those conditions, eventually I was going to hit my head enough times. So when I was a senior in college, I had my 7th concussion and didn't
You were medically retired.
didn't race again. I coached a little racing team at Big Rock right out of college. Big Rock is a really small mom and pop hill in the county. But so when I was doing my first out of college job, I coached a little racing team there and still skied a lot, but just knew that I couldn't, because when you go down a race course, you aren't like, I'll go 70% this run so I
Right.
don't hit my head. Like, you go all in. So, yeah.
Okay.
How am I doing?
You want
You're
great.
doing amazing.
Do you have some stuff that you want to interject to?
Yes,
Have I not been talking enough?
No.
He talks a ton of questions. He asks a lot of questions.
Because I know your story, so I've been trying to help you with prompts.
Okay. Yeah, I got a couple questions, but I kind of want to tie them in as we go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. We can keep going.
All right, yeah, sure, I'll ask you one.
He doesn't want to ask any yet,
But right now,
but he's going to.
What do you love about school?
I think looking back at it, I wouldn't have said this when I was a kid, but just like I had like all the stuff. I really loved going to school, but I think it was because I loved to learn. It felt empowering. Like, maybe on some level, even as a little kid, I understood that the doctors had said I would never go to normal school. Obviously, I didn't understand fully what that meant, but to me, school was just so much fun.
That's cool. And what made you get into the political science end of it?
Okay, well, I loved history. It's my favorite subject all through school. And then I thought I'm gonna grow up and be a lawyer. Like I had this ability to memorize, and I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. But I was not a public speaker. And unfortunately, just my ignorance about school, higher education, and professions, I didn't realize that you didn't have to be good at it. It was something you could develop, and you could also practice a type of law where you could be behind the curtain. I didn't understand that at the time because I wasn't exposed to a lot of different careers or different job shadowing opportunities. And some of that could have been because I was off skiing, but some of it was just lack of resources.
So you thought that the only thing that lawyers did was like try a lawyer?
Yes. So like growing up, I had this idea of what a lawyer did, and then I just assumed, that I could never do that because I wasn't a public speaker. But I didn't make that assumption until I was already in college, already committed to the major. And at that point, I was like, then I'm going to be a history teacher. So I didn't realize actually until the very end of undergrad, I might not be a great lawyer because I can't public speak.
Okay. So approximately what age did you say I'm going to become a lawyer?
That was like yesterday, Nick. No. You mean back in the day? I thought you were talking about my reawakening of, wait, holy shit, I can be a lawyer. That was like, yeah. You're talking about as a kid. Yeah, I think like probably 5th grade to, again, my senior year of college is when I realized, that whole time I was thinking, I'm going to study law. I'm going to go to law school. I can afford law school. I was thinking all of these things that now are probably true. But once I graduated, I was like, holy shit, I can't afford law school. I'm not smart enough. I can't public speak. I started freaking out.
Right.
But that was like the day I graduated undergrad.
Sober up.
With a beer?
It's too late for me.
Oh, sounds like my butthole.
Ew.
What did my mom want?
She was just telling you everything that you already knew about the girls going in the hot tub.
Where are we? This is a long fucking story.
You have now graduated college.
Don't make me laugh.
The first time.
All right. Well, yeah. I graduate college concussed, literally, and like the day I graduated, I was just like, holy shit, my life is imploding. Like, I'm going to be living with my parents forever. And I thought that was kind of like a bad thing. Of all of my independence that I had worked for, I was like, this is a totally bad thing. I'm going to live with my parents forever. I have no plan. So I started applying for jobs, and I was looking in the county. I think on some level I was like, I need to get out of Strong. I need to go somewhere, and this is where I'm comfortable.
So you went from rural Maine to more rural Maine.
Yeah. I like I said, guys, I'm a good planner. I'm concussed. I'm poor. I'm freaking out, and I just take a job as a physical therapist aide in northern Maine. I love it. I'm working with patients, doing rehab, and I worked in a private clinic, and it was with a PT that I adored. But it also gave me like a good chance to put my life together, to like calm down and mature for a hot minute. And I had my independence, which again wasn't because I needed independence, needed to be by myself, all this stuff. It was because at that point I felt like I had to prove to the world that, and it was all to myself, because now I'm thinking back, I'm like, who cared if I wanted to live with my mom and dad? Who cared if I needed my mom to help me with shit? But that stuff concerned me back then.
So speaking of living, what was your living situation in the county?
I lived on my own in an apartment.
Okay.
A shitty apartment. Like those stories that you would hear where where the sewage comes down through the roof from the upstairs neighbor.
Oh.
And the landlord just put like a bucket on the toilet or on the ceiling tile. Yeah, what?
So that's real shitty.
But I was like, I was experiencing life. Like I had to pay my own rent. I had to pay for my own health insurance. I was like doing life, and that felt good. And I was learning how to recreate in this new concussed. Like I knew I wasn't gonna ski race again, and like I felt like my world was bottoming out. But I also was learning how to take those lessons that I learned from ski racing for so long, of like grit and keep going and ride your bike every day and eat right, take care of your mental health. Like all of those things I learned, I was applying it to my life as it felt like it was unraveling.
And then you were in the county for how long?
I was only there. This is where the story gets good. I was only there for 1 year before Joel's mom, who was still working at what we referred to earlier in the episode as Maine Handicap. She was the executive director at now Maine Adaptive. Joel's mom called me and was like, I heard you're living in the county. Like, come closer. I have a job for you. And so I interviewed with her, got the job, had to leave my physical therapist office. And they were like a family, my first family being away from home, you know. So it was hard to leave them, but I was really excited. I was like, who is 24 years old and gets their dream job offer? Like, I'm going to be working with adaptive athletes, adaptive skiing, and I'm going to tell the world about how important recreation is. Sounds like my dream job.
So you came all the way back down to Bethel.
Yep, my parents went and they only live an hour and a half from Bethel. They went and picked out my rent that I was going to be renting. And of course, it was like a 3-season home on the back of a lake in the middle of nowhere with wood heat only.
And 3-season means it's not made for winter.
But I was moving there in December, and my mom was like, Kathy's going to love this place. That's what she told the landlord. And my parents told the landlord, listen, she has a disability, but she can handle all of this. So I moved there by myself out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, you weren't by yourself.
Oh, I had a little border collie dog. His name was Harley. And my parents sent him with me. And I think it was because they felt like they were protecting me still if they sent the farm dog off to middle of nowhere, small cabin.
Right, because if you slip and fall, who's going to go roll manure for you? The dog.
The little border collie.
The farm dog.
So I moved there. I'm really loving my new job. Like, it's amazing. I'm talking all over the state about recreation, all over the region, really. Yeah, it's my dream job. So I start there in early December. Christmas, the boss's son comes home.
Hi.
That would be Joel. And we hit it off instantly. We had known each other through passing in high school.
Because we were both racing at the time.
Yeah, in the same small parts of Maine. And but we hadn't seen each other as adults, really. I guess a couple times in college, you came out and skied with me, but not a whole bunch.
Yeah, we skied together a couple of days.
Just as friends,
Yeah.
just as like, hey, Betsy, at this point I knew Betsy really well. And again, if you followed the story, the nurse practitioner that got me into skiing was his aunt. So she had really helped me out. She and her husband had really helped me out during my racing career with finances, with advice, with places to stay. And so I knew Joel in passing. I just knew he was like.
And you waxed your skis in my basement one night before a race too.
Yeah, okay, yeah. See, I had a lot of support.
Is that a hint at something?
No.
No,
At that
literally
point, I was
waxing
like, wow,
skis
that's...
in my
Literally.
basement.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, a non-skier over here.
I know. I mean, if that's...
He's
Nick
like, wait,
also
you
Is that what they call it these days?
Nick has also just learned that skis need to be waxed.
No, I just learned that there's different types of waxes for different temperatures.
hence the reason you have to do it the night before a race, because then you can really
And-
look at the Weather Channel.
Not only different temperatures,
That's
but
why
also
the kids are annoying.
also different moisture content.
What?
Yeah.
So,
What do I
yes.
know?
that email we got the other day about partnering with Swix
They're a
from
wax
John
company.
Wagner. They're a wax company
get
because
that.
you can spend you can spend like thousands of dollars in wax. So kids partner. So we have like a sponsorship with Swix here at CBA. Okay, that's because they have to buy so much.
Like back in the day, the fastest wax that you could buy came in a jar that was about the size of a shot glass, and that was called Sarah F. CERRAF. It was like $125 for a little shot glass bottle of it, and it was powder. So you would like sprinkle the powder on your skis, and then you'd iron it in with an iron.
Okay, just so you know, we did not have that at Mount Abram.
Oh, we didn't have that in Bethel either.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
We
saying,
probably didn't have that in God now, I imagine.
at a like high level college or high level.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I moved back to Bethel. I'm living in this little small cabin with my dog. I'm having my best life. I really am.
And I fucking ruined it.
Hey, I'm going out. I'm meeting people. So Joel comes home for Christmas, and his dad says,
Hey Joel, that's his.
real voice.
Hey Joel, you gotta ask Kathy White out.
She's new in town, and his mom liked me as an employee, so they wanted to keep me around. So his dad sent him in not to ask me out, but to like take me out and show me Bethel. So I guess kind of like out, but
No, he told me to take you on a date.
oh, we did.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what the hell
So
did
can-
he think
can we
was
get
gonna
that-
happen?
Can we get that reenactment one more time?
Which one?
Hey, Joel.
Oh,
Hey, Kathy's working for your mom.
Oh, really? Cool.
You're coming home for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
You should take Kathy out on a date.
Thank you.
And Joel goes, I
Don't remember.
can't. No, just say what you said.
I don't remember.
He said, I can't.
Oh yeah, I said I can't, and he said why not? Or sorry.
Why not?
And that, I think he was thinking, come on, Joel, we raised you better than this.
So my dad said,
You should take Kathy out on a date.
and I was like, I can't. It's Kathy, and I didn't say that for the reasons that you're all thinking. It was like, it's Kathy White. What do you mean I should take her on a date? She's like this badass ski racer, and I am not.
So, anyways, he did.
I did anyway.
He did, and
I picked her up in my dad's white Pontiac Aztec.
oh my God, it smelled
Because
like
I had flown home from Washington State, didn't have my own car in Maine, so I had to borrow my dad's car.
And then.
Oh, wait, I take that. No, was it that time? No, I take that back. The first time I picked Kathy up for a date was in my dad's green truck, and in order to get to her house, I had to pull somebody out of a snowbank first to get to her house because they were stuck in the snowbank in her driveway.
Yeah, it was way out there. So, I had a New Year's Eve.
Oh my god.
I had a New Year's Eve party with like just my sister and just really close friends, nothing big. And I invited Joel over because he was still home on leave.
Okay.
And I don't know why he's laughing. If he's laughing about this
Because
wedding
it's
or
the-
this,
No. I
you're
pull in
he's gonna.
I'm sorry, I have to tell this
Damn
story.
it, Joel.
I pull in the driveway and I go up the stairs and I hear like this faint beeping noise. And I open the door and smoke rolls out. And the smoke detector is going off because someone left the ham in the oven too long.
Okay, ladies.
So that was my
let that-
introduction to Kathy's cooking.
left that meal lesson for you because I've not cooked a meal to this day.
Really?
No.
You haven't cooked a single meal since then?
I tried.
She's stuck with baking.
I tried once more to do chicken for him, like the week after we got married, and the chicken was still frozen.
Well, in the middle.
Yeah.
It was beautifully. I mean, like, I was so excited to eat this chicken because it was perfectly cooked on the outside.
And he stuck his knife.
And frozen, and the knife went.
Oh my god! I think we laughed about it. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
we
we
were
did.
that immature couple.
We were like, ha 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 ha, guess who's getting takeout?
yeah, so I don't have to cook a whole lot. It's really nice.
But now thinking back on it, I think it was a ploy so that she didn't have to cook anymore.
Brilliant.
Brilliant
Brilliant.
boy.
God damn.
Oh my god.
This lady's smart.
So anyways, Joel and I get married, and we have this, actually, when Joel and I started dating, I would not move to Seattle, which is where Joel was living, to be his girlfriend.
In her words, not mine, she said, "You have to buy the cow if you want the milk."
I did say that.
Damn.
And I was honest. Yeah, so.
Like, if you want me to move out, you have to marry me.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was worth it, though. It was totally, like, we have the best love story, I feel like. Maybe I'm a little partial, but it's a good love story.
It's definitely the best one that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
beautiful.
we've done a lot of skiing.
We could be a Hallmark movie.
I know. I love Hallmark movies.
Looking at you, Hallmark.
Yeah, we could do a Hallmark movie.
I'll film
They
it.
already... No, it was Lifetime beat you to the one with the girl in the wheelchair.
I mean, they wouldn't put us in it, but they could.
You go look them dead in the eye when you say that.
Yeah, think about that. Yeah, I don't want to
They
be
wouldn't
in
put
it.
us in it, but we would be there for technical and creative support.
We have faces for podcasts.
I've got a face for radio. You have a face for Victoria's Secret.
Oh, thanks. So, anyways, we move.
That's my cue
I
to go.
move out. I move out to Seattle, and after we get married, and the rest is history. But skiing has always been a big part of what we do. And now we have a teenager here at this premier.
Winter
What do you call
sports private high school.
That's not how I think of it, but yeah.
It's how they think of it.
Yes, you are right. So now we have a 15-year-old daughter here skiing, and our 12-year-old also loves skiing and into sport. So really, it's like the sport has driven.
It's definitely driven the main focus of our life.
Yeah, or just what I learned through sport. So I think it's important for my daughters to be here. I know they have a lot of other gifts too that they'll develop over time now. Like when I was their age, I remember just thinking skiing was life, and I hope like this is just one part of their story.
So can I ask, what is life to you currently? Because earlier you mentioned that you were just excited to get to this party.
Oh, yeah,
you say life
that's
is
why
sweet.
I was born early, like excited to get to this party. Well, I think the main themes from my story are that I always have fun. You know, I just those middle school years are the only time that I look back and think, man, there was a little bit of that going on. Like I was not feeling confident about myself. But the main themes of my story are to like always have fun. I just loved life, and it was always having a ball, but also just to never say no. Like try it, give it a go. It's not impossible. If my mom and dad had believed what those whichever doctors had said, like she's not gonna walk, she's not gonna talk, and she's not gonna go to normal school, that would have really sucked. Like believe in the impossible.
What were their names?
And now we understand Joel's purpose.
Yeah, I think so often we read in textbooks what things should be, and we let that define the person. Like cerebral palsy should be that you don't walk, talk, or go to normal school. And then we let that define how we think of, how we perceive it. And so, like, yeah, believe in the impossible. When someone's like, that's impossible, they, I'm, whomever, we're never going to be able to do that. I'm like, oh, we don't want to fall into that trap. Everything is possible. Like, let's do it. Yeah. And then the failures they feel so bad at the time, but they definitely direct your life to the right where you're supposed to be. Like I remember having that 7th concussion and trying to hide it from my parents until my coaches called, and they were like, yeah, she's not. I was headed out to a speed camp in Colorado with the U.S. ski team, and they were like, no, she's not going. And so it was such a huge failure. So, but it got me where I was supposed to be.
So looking back on it, no pressure because I'm sitting here and asking the question. But looking back on it,
Oh gosh.
do you wish that you had continued on that original path, or are you glad that everything that's happened has happened?
I'm so glad everything has happened that has happened. You know, I just, yeah. First of all, I don't really believe in regrets. I think we have them, but just like don't say them out loud. Don't pass judgment on them in your head. Just let them fly by as a thought and just be like, yeah, that was it. But I also am like, yeah, I'm glad everything happens the way that it does.
So it's like the quote that we used to have on our refrigerator that said that you're not entitled to new cards, but you are entitled to play the shit out of the ones that you have.
Yeah, that's more the mainer side of it. It actually says, yeah, you're not entitled to the hand you think you want. Your job is to play the hell out of the hand you're holding, or something like that. So
I saw that the other night. I liked it.
play the cards you were dealt. Yeah, for sure, and play the hell out of them. Like, it's not just like, yeah, I'm here at this poker game. Here are my cards. It's like, get right into it. Have so much passion. And don't ever let someone take that away. Like, yeah. I wish our students could see, like, no, you don't have to follow the mold or, like, be what you think other people your age think you should be. Or what. Just go for it. Be you, you know?
Yeah, only got one life.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy that van. Move to Alaska.
Whoa.
Or whatever.
Whoa.
What?
Your life is here now.
Well,
Too late for you.
no, I
That's
mean,
one of those regrets.
once the kids,
Fleeting thoughts.
once the kids move out.
Oh, yeah. Once the kids move out.
So speaking of kids,
Yeah.
what do you think about the necessity of being a hard ass in helping get your doing the best for your kid? Like, your mom was the hard ass, you said?
Yeah.
So
My dad was soft.
What do you think about that necessity of having to be the hard ass?
I don't think it will always work. And probably now as a parent, I know there are times where okay, so if my mom had died that day, then I'd be at home with my dad right now on the couch, probably with him like feeding me. No, I'm just kidding. But he'd be like doing everything for me, right? Or maybe like if we put him in that category of the softer parent. And if my mom had survived and my dad had not, I wouldn't have had that balance. So you really need like a balance, and it just worked with my mom and dad, because I know my mom like broke down and cried because my grandmother told me, like, she lectured my mom one time about being too hard on me, and my mom called her up and was like, you think I'm being too hard on her? You should imagine how that feels for me. Like, I would love to go at it a different way, but this is what she needs. So my mom was just the best advocate. So I think that was really important, but it's hard to do as a parent. Now with kids of my own, I'm like, holy shit. That had to be so hard for her. Not only raising me, but also like having to say no to your kids sucks. Like no to my brothers, and that zaps my energy. But it's like she was like, okay, I have to say no, Kathy, you can't, or no, we can't afford that piece of adaptive equipment, or no, whatever. But she got up and had the energy to keep going. So that's huge. And my dad just like balanced it out. He like lugged me through Arlington Cemetery when we went there as a family. Probably if my mom was there, she was probably like, you can walk. But my dad picked me up and carried me. So, yeah.
I love it.
Is that it?
I was waiting for Nick to ask his next question.
Oh, that was
that it?
she tied into the next one that I had. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it was.
So do you have any closing thoughts for us?
Wow, I think I've given them all to you guys.
There's so much more though. Like we haven't talked about teaching.
okay.
We haven't talked about What if we do a part 2?
Let's do a part 2.
Okay.
I would love.
Yeah, let's do a part 2. I think I'll come back.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, you will.
Especially if you guys keep providing nice beer.
Look at that, nice beer. Might be worthy of an advertisement. Almost.
Yeah. Nice beer, Bigelow Brown.
Yeah,
very
very.
nice beer, Bigelow Brewing with the Bigelow Brown. From Skowhegan, Maine.
Good friggin' beer, dude.
I love this.
All right, so we're gonna have you on again to talk about all kinds of things: writing, teaching.
So we've gotten the Kathy origin story.
That's
Yeah,
what it is. It's just
the
part one of
origin
like a
story.
trilogy.
Part 2 is gonna be from is gonna be a summary of adulthood.
I think part 3 should be we take audience questions, like questions that people are burning to ask.
Oh, I've already got a couple from our live studio audience, but I'm not able to do those yet.
What's funny is we don't have a live studio audience. We don't have an audience.
If you're quiet, you might even hear them.
I'm gonna watch this.
Cricket.
I'm gonna watch this and then release it out to Facebook world, my Facebook world, and if it's good, you guys are gonna blow up.
Because Kathy's,
We're gonna watch this.
Kathy's an influencer.
As soon as we're done, we're gonna
No,
watch
I'm
this
not.
on
Yeah, we
big
are.
TV.
We're going to Nick's. No, you come out to our place.
Yep.
We'll put it on the big TV. Wait, can you edit to the TV?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my Lanta.
Okay, we're gonna go
Wait,
do
hold
that
on.
now. I
Hold
really,
on. Wait, hold on. We're
We
not
get-
done yet.
We're not done yet.
I'm really gonna pee.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold it, damn it.
We'll go real quick. Hey Nick,
Hey Joel.
never buy anything with Velcro. It's a ripoff.
God. A zinger every time.
I get it.
Okay, go pee.
Cheers.
All right.
In the bathroom.
Woo!
All
Good
right,
episode,
episode 1.
everybody.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in 5 minutes when we edit.